What's up, boys and girls in quarantine? It's your boy Clutch here, back today with a podcast. I'm starting this series out once a week. I got my colleague with me, Mr. Myco Maniac, aka The Shaman.
Hey yo, what up? It's The Shaman.
And today, me and him are going to be talking about, the biggest issue on everybody's mind right now. That is coronavirus.
Coronavirus!
So, first things first. What is a virus? So, according to Google, a virus is an infective agent that typically consists of a nucleic acid molecule and a protein code. It is too small to be seen by light microscopy and is able to multiply only within the living cells of a host.
Okay, so basically, to describe that a little better, a virus is not quite alive. It has genetic material in the form of RNA, ribonucleic acid. It's a single strand helix, similar to the double helix structure of DNA. The RNA is encapsulated in a protein sheath. This protein sheath is covered in a variety of proteins that allow it to attach to and infiltrate the host cell. In this case, we're talking about the human epithelial cells of the lung.
Oh, yes.
Now, viruses, once they infiltrate the host cell, they actually incorporate their own genetic material into the nucleus of the host cell and make the host cell reproduce copies of the virus until it's reached maximum capacity. The cell is full of different viruses. The cell then destroys itself and releases the large number of viruses to then go out and infect and start the process all over again.
Sheesh. So before we get too much into the coronavirus, we want to kind of talk about the effects of it and what it does to us and how it's affected all of our lives.
So basically this is, what is this, week 3 of the shutdown?
Yeah, I'd say week 3 of quarantine with the boys locked up here in the frat house.
Trying to maintain social distancing, trying to wash our hands as much as we can, not touch our face when we're outside. It's a little bit eerie out there,
yeah.
But
a big challenge faced in the house right now is whether or not to use condoms, practice safe sex at a time like this. It's a joke.
I was about to say I don't know why that would ever be in question, but yeah, it's sometimes you feel like in that movie with Leslie Nielsen. What was it? Naked Bullet? Or no, Naked Gun?
Naked Gun.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Damn, that was an old ass movie. You probably don't know. He was in a full body condom. That's what you feel like doing nowadays with all the viruses out there.
I don't know. I mean, every now and again you see a shorty, you just want to risk it all, but we should not in times like these. So,
it was the Naked Gun. Yeah.
The Naked Gun. Yeah. All right. How else has it affected us?
Well, I mean, we're not in school no more.
Yeah, that's kind of a nice thing.
Yeah, well, I mean
yeah, it's good and bad.
It's tough. I mean, you're fucking. It's like there's nothing to do all day.
Yeah,
you're stuck
you gotta
inside.
teach yourself everything. Like
I'd be sleeping.
classes.
I'd be sleeping all the time. I'm just sleeping all day long.
I guess there's really no personally for all of us, it's pretty much just wake up, game, chill, bed, repeat, but like whenever. It's not like we do that on a schedule at all.
Quarantine's not the best for productivity.
Yeah, definitely not. No. It's definitely has affected my motivation.
For sure, and also like I haven't been able to get to the dentist. I got a chipped tooth and stuff that I needed to get fixed, and they shut them all down.
Yeah.
You need to have a negative pressure room, so it's like they can basically like only be performed in emergency rooms, but they're not going to take any sort of like elective procedures like that. So
true.
So one of the symptoms of coronavirus is a dry cough.
Oh yeah.
And so that's one of the things we're trying to keep an eye out for, trying to differentiate our coughs, whether they're productive or not.
Yeah,
keep an eye out for fevers. Keep an eye out for sudden loss of smell or taste.
I have not experienced any of those symptoms. I don't think personally any of us are infected. We've been keeping a good eye on that. maintaining our 6 feet when we go in public and such.
Yeah, we're stocked up on masks.
But,
That's when we get sick, and also when we have to go outside. Now that's today actually, or well, yesterday.
the CDC announced that everybody should wear a mask, huh? It's crazy to think that they want us all out here masked, whether we're infected or not. They just
Well, it's because they don't know who's infected, because you could be infected and not showing symptoms or having minor symptoms, and you're not going to qualify for a test because we don't have enough tests in this country.
You're right. That's another big issue, is the amount of precautions we took against this virus. Not enough.
Yeah, and we saw this coming, and we had time to react. Like, for example, the president could have enacted the Defense Production Act months ago, but he's just starting to enforce it on certain industries to produce ventilators and other personal protective equipment. But this is we needed them yesterday.
Facts. When did this whole Corona COVID-19 strain, break out exactly?
So it started in December of 2019. It was first reported in Wuhan, China.
Yes.
And it was sequenced pretty immediately once it was discovered and named SARS-CoV-2. It's found to be most closely related to the SARS or severe acute respiratory syndrome, SARS-CoV, which was responsible for a previous outbreak in 2003.
Yeah.
Now, the coronavirus family includes a number of different viruses, including the common cold, SARS, and MERS. Now, this coronavirus is in a group of beta coronaviruses, and in one study looking at the origin of coronavirus, there's this one big thing out there about this coming from bat soup, or even conspiracy theories of this being something produced in a lab made for population control, or something to destabilize the Western economy, or anything like that.
So a little more what you said about the bat soup. So actually that was found to be completely not true at all. And see, according to Foreign Policy, there is a video that surfaced of a Chinese woman holding an entire bat with chopsticks, preparing to eat the creature in a soup-like form. The Daily Mail also reported on this video, and so did a couple YouTube channels and all sorts of places. The clip was reportedly met with outrage from Twitter users, who quickly began calling out Chinese eating habits as the cause of the outbreak, because originally that's where it was said to come from, like the bats, people were eating them raw or whatever. But here's the thing. For Foreign Policy, that video in question reportedly wasn't filmed in Wuhan or China at all. Actually, the woman was in the video who she has been identified from several news outlets as Wang Mengyun. I probably got that wrong. But she's a host of an online travel show on YouTube who actually really was eating a dish in Palau, which is an island country located in the Western Pacific Ocean. The video was reportedly filmed in 2016, way before this strain of coronavirus outbreak in Wuhan. She has also reportedly apologized for the footage and said, "I am sorry, everyone. I should not have eaten that bat." She said, according to the South China Morning Post, "I had no idea during filming that there was such a virus going on." She continued, "I realized it only recently." So that completely just debunks the fact that it was bat soup or whatever that myth was saying.
And also looking at the origin in terms of the actual genomic analysis of the virus, in a study published in Nature Medicine on the 17th of March, the proximal origin of SARS-CoV-2 by Anderson, Rambut, Lipkin, Holmes, and Gary. It looked at some of the notable features of the SARS-CoV-2 genome, and they compared it to different alpha and beta coronaviruses, and they found that there were basically two notable genomic features worth looking at. One is that SARS-CoV-2 appears to be optimized for binding to the human receptor ACE2, and that the spike protein of SARS-CoV-2 has a functional polybasic furin cleavage site at the S1 and S2 boundary. Now, basically what this means is that there have been some mutations in the receptor binding domain of its genome. Now, basically what the receptor binding domain is responsible for is the part of the spike protein, which, if you've ever seen a picture of, of the coronavirus or other viruses, they're ball-like shaped with a bunch of protruding proteins. Now, those proteins get snipped in half by the host's protein, in this case furin. It splits the spike protein into two active parts. One binds to the ACE2 receptor. Now, the addition of the polybasic cleavage site in SARS-CoV-2 is something that's been seen in other infectious diseases, such as avian influenza viruses. So, for example, you've heard of H1N1. Different avian influenza viruses have two proteins, abbreviated H and N. So the different avian influenza viruses are classified by their 16 different types of hemagglutinin, H1 through H16, and the 9 different types of neuraminidase, N1 through N9. So you have 16 and 9 different subtypes respectively for hemagglutinin and neuraminidase. So you've heard of H1N1, that was swine flu. Those different viruses have also been shown to develop polybasic cleavage sites in their spike proteins, much similar to the case with the COVID-19 virus. And this has been demonstrated to increase the infectivity rate and the rate at which it can be passed between species. So this is how in the case of the avian influenza viruses, they can occasionally jump to humans, and it's believed that with the origin of SARS-CoV-2, it may have originated in a bat and jumped through some sort of intermediate species and then to humans.
Yes. Makes sense.
Now, something worth noting, if you look at the graphic of the features of the spike protein and the genomic analysis, you'll see that there is a high level of correspondence between the human SARS-CoV-2 and the bat RATG13 virus. Now, in this graphic, it shows in the receptor binding domain. You might see a higher level of congruence with the pangolin virus, but the overall genome was found to have less congruence than the relation to the bat RATG13. I believe it was on the order of something like 96% similarity in genes versus 91% for the pangolin.
So it's higher.
Yeah, so it's actually unlikely that pangolins were an intermediate host for this virus. Generally, like with the previous pandemics with SARS, they were found in their hosts to have upwards of 99% similarities in genomes. So it is similar to some of the coronaviruses found in pangolins, but it's much more clear that it came from a bat at some stage.
Yes, okay.
But what's very novel about is the addition of a polybasic cleavage site that has not been seen yet in beta coronaviruses. It's only been seen in alpha coronaviruses.
I'm glad we cleared that up for everybody. Along with that, what other myths have you heard of that some people are going around with that seem to be, catching grip?
Well, the biggest one I've seen is that a lot of people just don't believe that it's something that it doesn't come from nature. But I think something else that's important to address is there's a lot of myths going around about how you can protect yourself. A lot of people think that they can wear
just any cloth mask.
Well, even like a surgical mask is not going to protect you from viral infection. Those are actually only intended to prevent sick people from spreading their illnesses, because those
To
masks.
healthy people, correct?
Because the way that the virus spreads is through airborne particles that are ejected from your mouth and nose when you sneeze, cough, exhale. If you wear a surgical mask or a piece of cloth in front of your face, that can catch any outgoing
keep
particles.
it to yourself.
Yeah, it'll basically keep it contained.
But it's
But if
definitely
you're, yeah,
not
but if
made
you're,
to...
but when you inhale, there's so many gaps between the mask and your face.
Yeah,
and also
there's
that
no
it's-
way it would stop all the particles.
Yeah, so viral particles are going to get through the mask. They're going to get around
Yeah.
the cracks when you inhale. So that's
rendering them basically
Yeah.
useless.
Yeah, you hear about
It's
the
this type of
N95
thing.
masks
Yes.
that our healthcare workers and first responders need for contact when they're caring for people with this illness. There's marginal evidence that it can decrease the rates of infectivity.
But it's not like 100%
Yeah,
prevent.
and also
rate.
that you have to undergo yearly training to make sure that
You use
have
it properly.
that you wear it properly, that you apply it properly, that you're wearing the right size.
There's a lot of factors that go into making
Yeah, you have to
sure
create a
that
perfect
have
seal,
the
against your
exact-
face. Yeah, or else it's not going to work.
So not like you could just slap a mask on and go out and expect to be 100% immune.
Exactly, but just yesterday the CDC did announce a guideline that all Americans going out in public should wear masks, and that's because we don't have enough tests, and also because there's an incubation period of 2 to 14 days.
Where you don't show any symptoms.
Yeah,
But
where you're not
very
showing any
contagious,
symptoms, but
yes.
still could be contagious. You don't know.
This
if you're
way we
infected.
just all keep everything to ourselves, and there's just even less of a chance to start spreading it because it's spreading like wildfire.
Yeah, what you're seeing is in New York, especially, the healthcare system is on the verge of being overwhelmed.
Yeah.
They're starting to have to come out with guidelines to make decisions on who lives and who dies, essentially,
And that's like
because those decisions have to be based on survivability outcomes, based on their current condition and the virus that they have, and also life expectancy. So, for example,
How long?
two patients that might be equally likely to survive the virus at their current state, if one also has a cancer diagnosis that might be terminal,
they're obviously
on the
gonna-
long term, let's say on a 6-month to a year-long basis or
Yeah.
something like that, they
like
they
they
could
choose the
perhaps
more
ma-
healthy patient.
Yeah, choose the more healthy patient, and so that's the kind of decisions that are on an everyday basis are never made.
And
In
now
triage, because
more and
there's
more times are gonna have to be.
yeah, this is almost like people describe this as a wartime like scenario, and in a lot of ways it is. It's going to overwhelm the healthcare system in a lot of places.
Yeah.
And that's why we needed to release the national stockpile of ventilators. We had 20,000, 30,000 some odd ventilators in the national stockpile. And the tens of thousands of more people are going to die in this country because of how unprepared we were. And because of the lack of leadership from the top of the government on down.
But our goal now is to just stop the amount of people who are getting it and try to preserve everybody. That's why this whole social distancing, you gotta take it seriously.
Yeah, this podcast is being recorded as we're sitting more than 6 feet apart. I can guarantee.
Listen, now we're gonna have to cut some out. Nah, I'm just kidding. But in all seriousness, when you go out in public, you should, take precautions to keep yourself healthy and, loved ones.
And also, don't be one of those doofuses that gets caught on camera eating fucking Cheetos in Walmart with your gloves on as if that's making a fucking difference.
It's not.
It's not at all.
It's not.
Not how gloves work.
Yeah. Healthy or not, people are still gonna be cracking at the Walmart. Like, jeez. It's just this whole toilet paper pandemic. Like, what the hell?
Also, yeah, why are people hoarding toilet paper?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I don't understand if everybody thought like you got the shits like Ebola. Like
I think they kind of just
maybe.
thought like this might be the apocalypse, and they just
Like
thought,
shit's hitting the fan literally, and we're gonna have to wipe. Like, is that the thought
I guess
process
we'll
that was
see.
running
I
through
don't
the
know.
masses' brains at the time? It was honestly ridiculous. It was quite some time, but there was no toilet paper in any store nearby. Like, thank God one of our close friends has a parent who works in a Walmart, and they could, help us out. Throw us a little bit.
Yeah,
My
there
God.
was a time where we literally had to have friends give us one of their last rolls of toilet paper because we had no toilet paper in the house.
Yeah, scary.
It's like, damn.
scary times. Scary toilet paperless times here.
I can't get any isopropyl alcohol at all anymore. Like it's gone in every store. Like rip, I can't use that.
It's just the liquor stores. Oh my God! Don't even get me started. Thank God we can order online again. But whew, for a minute. What we had a brother go to West Virginia to get some liquor.
That's sad.
That is. You gotta do what you gotta do to keep the party, 6 feet away. But you gotta keep it going, Especially here in, United States where the number of cases is getting higher. It's getting higher and higher. Personally, we're in Pennsylvania. We have 8,420. Would you look at that number? That's a good confirmed cases. That's crazy. Confirmed. I guarantee you there's a lot more.
And we're going to have between 100 and 260,000 deaths. That's the current estimate as to, the kind of deaths we could expect from this pandemic in this country alone.
How do you think other countries are, handling this situation right now?
I mean, some better than others, but Italy's healthcare system was completely overrun weeks ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think we're probably actually one of the least prepared in terms, well, not in absolute terms, but in terms of our potential to have been prepared. I think we really slacked. But I've heard anecdotal reports of a lot of lax travel restrictions in Europe. A lot of complaints of Europeans traveling to places like Antigua to vacation, and that one woman actually traveled there after being in contact with positive people who tested positive, and then
prayers go out to another brother's family on Antigua.
Straight up, that I would hate.
That's very, very scary to think about.
Also, how about rip to spring 2020? IU Patty's gone.
IU Patties, block party, state patties, everything just
spring
gone.
Break.
Yeah,
all of it.
Rip to our spring break.
Probably even the 4th of July is going to be ruined too.
At this point.
Although
honestly,
the 4th of July, that could be accomplished because you can probably still do fireworks because
it's
that
just not going to be the same.
It's not going to be the same.
I'm
You're not going to
make some s'mores with my boys. Shotgun a beer or two. Celebrate.
This sucks.
It's just not going to be the same,
But you know what? This is going to be the new norm. This is not going to be the last pandemic. There's going to be more in our lifetime. So we're just going to have to
adjust.
We're going to have to learn how to adapt. We're going to have to be able to flip real quick. Be all right, it's pandemic mode. All right,
do this, do this.
Download Zoom,
not hoard toilet paper.
Yeah, but obviously it's going to be stuff like that. Everybody's going to, we're going to have to switch. We're going to have to go to these modes. All right, let everybody get on Skype, get this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah, get the...
landlords are going to have, there's going to have to be stuff in leases about,
everybody's going to have a plan in motion for this kind of thing from now on.
Yeah, there's going to have to be workers' benefits that are guaranteed in these sort of situations.
And with the whole stimulus check going out for workers and everything like that, it'll all hopefully be situated and stuff. For sure. Hopefully we just get better and better. It's usually how things go.
Wow.
Usually. But so we're about to wrap this up on our first podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope it was very informative. Wanted to clear up a lot of the stuff, that's going around about the virus and, give you guys some tips on how to stay safe and healthy.
Wash your filthy hands.
And use safe sex unless she's a 9 or higher.
And if you don't do
either
of those things, the shaman is going to come to your house and wash your dirty, filthy hands for you.
I wonder if he's watching anything else. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have time for today. I'll see you guys in the next one. You have anything else to say, the shaman?
It's the shaman. And that's it.
Alright, folks, that's it. Wash your hands, stay safe.